So Crocodile nearly destroyed Arabasta, yet he's the same man who protected Luffy from Mihawk's blade. This contradiction defines one of anime's most complex antagonists. His story proves that in One Piece, no character is ever just good or evil. They're constantly evolving based on their goals and circumstances. What drives someone to starve an entire nation just to read an ancient stone? I propose we look at Crocodile's single-minded obsession with Pluton. His entire operation in Arabasta was about hunting for the ancient weapon, the one thing that could rewrite the world's power structure. His partnership with Nico Robin tells you everything. He didn't value people, he valued what they could give him. Ancient knowledge, historical access, that's what mattered. Operation Utopia was his master plan, and it's chilling when you break it down. He was willing to let a civil war rage, to let people starve and kill each other, all to create chaos enough to uncover Pluton. That's a specific kind of moral calculus. Sacrifice thousands to control millions. He understood that ruling one kingdom is temporary, but controlling the weapon that can erase islands. And that's the real horror of Crocodile's plan in Arabasta. He wasn't just a villain, he was a strategist who saw human lives as acceptable losses in a much larger game. His obsession with Pluton wasn't greed. It was a cold, calculated belief that some goals are worth any price. But how does a Logia user who controls sand lose to a rookie with rubber fists? By conventional logic, this shouldn't have been possible. Crocodile had every advantage: a powerful devil fruit, years of experience, and a well-organized criminal network. But he underestimated something crucial. He didn't account for raw creativity and sheer willpower. Luffy's water strategy revealed a fundamental weakness in Crocodile's approach. He had mastered his sand powers, but he hadn't prepared for someone who could adapt on the fly. This mirrors how real strategists often learn more from devastating losses than from easy victories. Defeat forces you to reevaluate everything. His imprisonment in Impel Down's level 6 gave him months to confront this failure in total isolation. Imagine that silence. No schemes, no subordinates, just cold reflection on how his perfect plan collapsed. What do you think he realized in that darkness? The most important lesson Crocodile learned from Luffy was that brute force alone cannot conquer the world. You need flexibility. You need to understand your opponents beyond their surface strengths. And sometimes, you need unexpected alliances. This defeat reshaped his entire approach to power, moving him from a solo conqueror to someone who now understands the value of strategic partnerships. Why would a man who left Luffy for dead suddenly save him from Mihawk's blade? Marineford fundamentally changed the battlefield, and Crocodile entered with no clear loyalties. He wasn't there for the Marines, but for Whitebeard. Aside from that, he was just a free agent, watching the entire system tear itself apart. His protection of Luffy wasn't about friendship or sudden guilt. It was cold, calculated strategy. He stepped in to block Mihawk's attack because he recognized Luffy's value as a disruptive force. The same goes for when he confronted Doflamingo and later Akainu. These weren't emotional decisions. They showed a warrior's code re-emerging, but also a keen eye for opportunity. This mirrors how real mercenaries operate. Sometimes you protect an asset, not because you like them, but because their survival serves your future interests. Crocodile saw something in Luffy that others missed. Amid all that chaos, with admirals and warlords and emperors clashing, he noticed Luffy's unique ability to create change through pure, unpredictable determination. I think he recognized that Luffy represented chaos itself, the kind of chaos that could dismantle the very power structure that had imprisoned him in Impel Down. The world government, the Marines, the system that crushed him, Luffy was shaking it all. And in that moment, Crocodile decided that sometimes the enemy of your enemy is your best temporary ally. He wasn't saving Luffy. He was investing in the destruction of the establishment. When did Crocodile realize money could conquer what sand couldn't? The post-war world demanded entirely new strategies for gaining influence. Buggy's accidental rise to warlord status showed something crucial. Sometimes reputation matters more than actual strength. Perception became the new battlefield. Crocodile saw this shift clearly. Instead of trying to control territory through force, he began funding Buggy's delivery service. This let him build massive influence while staying completely behind the scenes. He wasn't the face of the operation, he was the one pulling the strings. Those newspaper analysis scenes we get later reveal his transformation perfectly. He's no longer the conqueror trying to rule a desert kingdom. He's become a master manipulator, working through proxies and information networks. This mirrors how real power brokers operate today. The most influential people aren't always the ones on television. They're the ones controlling the money, the information flows, and the mercenary networks. Think about it. Controlling a global supply chain and security force gives you eyes and ears everywhere. You know who's moving where, what they're transporting, and what they're afraid of. That's power on a completely different scale than ruling one kingdom. Why abandon direct conquest for economic manipulation? Because Crocodile learned the hard way that controlling the flow of money and information ultimately controls more than any single piece of land. Physical control is temporary. But if you control the systems that move resources and shape perceptions, you control the game itself. But how does partnering with Mihawk make Crocodile more dangerous than ever? The Cross Guild represents his ultimate evolution in power strategy. He's not just playing the game anymore, he's rewriting the rules entirely. For the first time in the One Piece world, we see pirates hunting marines instead of the other way around. That's a complete reversal of the established order. You have Crocodile's strategic genius, paired with arguably the second greatest swordsman in the world. Its brains and unmatched combat power working together. But the real accidental masterstroke was using Buggy as the public face. Everyone sees the clown, the charismatic frontman, while Crocodile operates from the shadows. Again, this mirrors how real political operators work. They let someone else take the spotlight, while they control everything behind closed doors. What makes the bounty system on Marines more revolutionary than finding Pluton? Because it attacks the system itself. Pluton was a weapon of destruction, but the Cross Guild is a weapon of influence. It undermines Marine authority on a global scale, turning their own tactics against them. Crocodile has shifted from wanting to own the ultimate weapon to wanting to control the entire ecosystem of power. The Cross Guild shows he's evolved from warlord to kingmaker. He finally understands that true power doesn't come from possessing the biggest weapon. It comes from controlling the game everyone else is forced to play. Crocodile's journey shows that in One Piece, failure isn't the end. It's just gathering intel for the next move. His transformation from brutal warlord to subtle broker proves that adaptability defines real power. What if Cross Guild becomes the ultimate wildcard in the final war? Crocodile has proven he'll back whoever shakes the system hardest. His story suggests he might just place his bets on the winning side when it really counts. And honestly, that unpredictability makes him one of the most compelling figures heading into the endgame.